All right, grasshoppers. Yes, it is. Excuse me. It is Monday. It is Monday morning, and I think like we sit around all week long, just going. Hopefully, Mark is going to be on, and that's what we didn't have a show last week, did we?
Didn't have a show last week. Yeah,
that's right. I was busy. I was actually at the Garden. We were taping an event with Stefan Matteau and Glenn Anderson. Fun little event. I can't get into it too much. I think they wanted it to be a little bit of a surprise.
Right.
It was pretty fun. It was actually
cool.
a good thing. It was one of those things they didn't tell us why we were showing up. I guess they thought maybe we were going to pull a shoot, but it was
really?
I got to be a ham, so I was happy.
Cool.
How's your week going then? I haven't seen you, I guess, 2 weeks.
Yeah, all good. Busy working, and then the Warriors, the Jersey Warriors. We had practice Saturday night, and then we played Coast Guard last night. We had a game against Coast Guard.
Oh, how'd that go?
Yeah, we won 6-2, but it's not about the hockey. It's about But yeah, went really well.
Where'd you play? Where's that game?
That game was actually, it used to be called South Mountain Arena. It was the Devil's old practice facility. It's called Cody Arena now after some political guy here in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. I hate.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Why do we name it after politicians? It'd be named after heroes, maybe people that have fought and died for the
anybody
country.
But politicians.
I know. I refuse to call the Tappan Zee Bridge the Cuomo biz.
Me too.
Forever.
But
it's not about Democrat or Republican either. It's about memorize people who have done something fantastic for the country, I think. But
yeah, so we had the pipe and drum band.
Yeah.
They did a lap around the rink, and then they stopped at the rink, and they did all the military, like the Marine Corps, the Navy Corps, as they were going around the rink.
Oh,
and if that doesn't get you jacked up,
yeah, totally.
It was pretty cool.
I saw our buddy posted on Instagram, I believe it was Bill did a young lady that's going to be singing.
Yeah.
And the date of the swim again is from across
August 6th.
August 6th.
August 6th.
Very attractive young lady, good singer too.
Yeah.
That ceremony, I recommend to everybody. I know it's. Is that ceremony when we start? Is that open to the public?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. The whole swim is.
I recommend to anybody August 6th, if you can go over to Liberty State Park. What time in the morning do we usually start? Is it like 11 o'clock?
Well, I don't know because Bill will run a couple dial-in swims to get the current.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because we've done traditionally the first two were early, like 9 o'clock a.m.
Right.
But last year, I don't think they got. If you remember, Tom, they didn't get wet until about 2 or so. 2 o'clock.
That's right. It was later, yeah.
So it has to do with the tides.
I recommend anybody, if you can go over, it's such an inspirational thing to see them swim, and then go to Lower Manhattan if you'd rather them. They get out of the water and the ceremony there as well. So it's fantastic. So, okay. So we had our alumni game. So Barry Shelley's asking a question. Where's your report card on Gresh? And he did behind the bench this weekend. Does he have a future in the NHL as a coach? By the way, I hope he didn't bench. It was actually a lot of fun. So Gresh, he looked a little bit like Emile Francis. Emile Francis had this jacket, blue jacket, really nice jacket. Gresh had the same one on, so he looked like Emile Francis there a little bit. But that was a young Emile Francis.
He's a little bit bigger than the cat.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of coaching going on. It was funny. We were talking before the show. There's a lot of good players. Benny Hogue is out there. Pierre Turgeon, Adrian Okoye can still play. Darius Kasparaitis, he keeps himself in good shape and everything. I was trying to not touch the puck as much as possible. I have a ball at these things. I made one play that was a decent play. So I go by I'm hooting and hollering. I go by the Islanders bench, and Aaron Asher was funny. He jumped up and gave me a high five and everything. And I went and changed. I said, "That's it. I made a good play. I'm getting off the ice." Those are a blast. They did a great job. Northwell Health sponsors that building over there. I believe with the Islanders practice, and they do a lot of stuff sponsored with the Rangers as well. So it was kind of a co-sponsored thing. And they fantastic. They had young kids on the bench. Little kids, 6-year-old. I had the one little boy on the bench there sitting with them, and so I kind of assigned him to close it and open the door all the time. But I forgot a couple of times that I was having him do it, and I went and opened it. And he looked at me like, "What are you doing? It's my job." So, he was very cute. And then at the end, we as you know, with these alumni games, you try to have it go to a shootout, because especially with those people paid to play. There's some Northwell Health employees around the ice as well. So we let them do the shootout, and then we let the same little boy, took the final shot, scored. The goalie was good. The goalie was good, let him score. So we mobbed him at the end of the game. It was pretty cute. He was having fun.
Great stuff. How'd you feel yesterday?
Fine. Yeah. You know what? 15 years ago, I'm glad you asked me that question. I've been asked this by other people. about getting older and conditioning and all that kind of stuff. I said, don't listen to people say that you can't get better, because 15 years ago when I played those games, by the time I got in the car and drove home an hour, I couldn't get out of the car. I was all seized up. Now, because I've worked harder on my core, my stretching and everything, I'm fine. There's no problems at all. Knees were a little wonky maybe, but that's what
it's amazing. So there was an article actually Beth pointed out to me in yesterday's New York Post about longevity and mindset and aging and training. And it pretty much says what you and I believe, and a lot of people believe, is chronological age necessarily doesn't have to be a physiological age. Totally. And it's really important.
I think even more like keep moving. Like, what I find too, that you're right, like you learn more all the time. I think like you're willing to learn more too about conditioning and health and diet. Like you said, moving too, keeping your mind active, all the same thing. Hey, real quick, I like this topic you're on. I want to stay with it. Barry asked a question here. Barry Shelley did a who played goal for the Rangers. We just had the local kids play goal. They didn't have any of the goalies. I don't know why that was, but actually we went up 4-0 in the game early, and we thought, oh god, we're switching goaltenders because our goalie was pretty good, but then the other guy pulled it together, and so no, but I'm with you that the whole somebody, I think it's just one of those things, like people, like I'm big on this, people who are like, Wednesday is hump day because you're just trying to get through the week. Well, and then there's other things like, well, you're getting older, so you got to change your training methods and all that kind of stuff. And I can see that. Listen, maybe we don't want to try to bench press 400 pounds anymore, or squat 500 pounds, but
it's all contextual.
You've got me going those Jefferson deadlifts.
Yeah.
Oh man, like that's the thing I like, is that you're learning new stuff all the time to add to your workouts. That's cool.
Well, there's new lifts, new exercises, new skill sets, and that's why I really like the started doing this Filipino martial arts a couple of years ago, because it's both hands, so you gotta work both sides of your body. And I think it's really important as we age that we keep, like you said, we keep learning new things.
Are you a little bit off topic, but maybe not? Are you spiritual at all, or are you religious? Or
I'm not religious in a formal sense. I do believe that this just didn't happen. Like atoms just didn't collide, and we got Tom Laidlaw, and we got all this. I believe there's a higher power, and I think it's kind of like you're born with understanding of what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? You don't really need to be told. No one really needs to tell you not to smash somebody over the head with a stick or to steal something or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't particularly. My dad told me a long time ago, you don't have to wear it on your sleeve to feel it in your heart, and that's kind of the way I roll. Yeah,
I agree. I guess I just, since we've gone on this journey, like the mental and physical health. It's just, for some reason, it's not a religious thing necessarily. It's just more a belief of doing the right things more and more all the time. Like I just find, I know you do as well, all the stuff that you do, helping other people. You just seem to get so much more from it.
Absolutely.
I had on Saturday mornings now, I'm doing a show at 10 o'clock with this nice young lady, Ebony Ross, Dr. Ebony Ross. And she was good. We were talking about self-love on the weekend, and it comes in many different forms, but like really getting, making yourself better, do more for other people. You feel better about yourself. And I just think it all ties into your mental and physical health too. You just feel
no question. I mean, you worry yourself sick to death. I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, stress is a killer. And if you're constantly worried and stressed out about life, you're going to get sick. Right. My dad he was an electrical contractor. One of the guys that worked with him started when he was 18 years of age and stayed right through it. My dad, really great guy. But for some reason, when he got older, he decided, I'm going to get sick. And then like it started with a cane, you know what I'm saying? It was like his knee, his back, his this, his that. And it was almost like a hobby for him. I swear to God, going to the doctor and talking about it. I mean, it's a lot, like never say to him, hey, how's it going? Because it's going to go on for about 3 hours.
I know. That is true, right? I mean, we get caught in that trap. I mean, there's that fine line. You've still got to take care of yourself and get in for checkups and all that kinds of stuff. But to be just like automatically saying, okay, I've got a headache, so I need to take an aspirin. Well, there's other ways to take care of yourself, right?
You can't give in.
Yeah.
But going back to the spiritual part of it, Tom. Yeah, when I go for the hikes, and to me that's spiritual because you're like kind of bringing it back down, and then working out too. Like this morning, so the past 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, I did 50 pull-ups every morning. So that's 250 for the week. It's not really incredible, but I did for 2 weeks. So today I decided I'm going to do 100 every morning. Right. So I did my 100. But while I'm doing them, because it doesn't take a lot of mental output, it gives you a chance to kind of just first thing in the morning, kind of quiet, movement, as you just said, getting your body moving. And it, I do feel, I don't know if spiritual is a good word, but maybe it is in this case. Yeah.
But I agree with you. Right? We're out in nature. Like, when I get out, I've adjusted my schedule. It's ultimately the bigger march that I have in the morning is after the gym. So around 6 o'clock, the sun's coming up. I'm taking pictures of it. I'm out of this Todd's Point in Greenwich. And it's just like the whole, very often there's not many other people out there. So you're walking for a while, probably the same with you, where you're by yourself and it's just nature out there. And it's pretty powerful, like watching the sun come up and the ocean and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of talk now in certain communities about frequency, and that we're at a certain frequency. And I was reading something last night, and we know that we only use 10% of our mind. That was the old school. Turns out it's closer. We only use 4% of our brain. So that's 96%.
4% of our brain we use.
That's all we use.
Just the daily function, thinking, moving.
Everything, your whole life. We only use 4%. So I got to thinking, well, there's 96% of your brain left. And if we're talking about frequency, maybe some people that are like seers, people that can see the future or see in the past or connect with people, maybe they're at a different frequency. Maybe they're using 8% of their brain as opposed to 4%. I don't know. But I think there's so much potential with that, both physically and mentally. It's incredible.
Really? That low a number?
4%. Yeah.
4%.
And we know some people it's even less than that.
Yeah. But so how do we can we train our mind to use more of it? Can we train ourselves so we're using more of our mind?
So there's a word that's used. It's called plasticity, meaning you're constantly making new neural connections. So for instance, when I learn a new movement in my Filipino martial art and I do it over a period of time, I'm hardwiring those connections so that I learn that skill. So we can continue. I don't know if we're going to use more than 4%, Tom, but the potential there to continue to increase neural connections exists till the day you die.
Sure.
And that's why it's really important. And there's research to show that if you keep your mind busy as well as your body, doing whether it's crossword puzzles or something like that, you're working your brain out because your brain's a muscle too. It needs to be exercised.
Well, that's kind of where I was going, right? So we make our muscles stronger by exercising more. And the theory should be that we should do the same with the brain. So would we be able to use? So are we using more than the 4%, or are we making our brain stronger? So we're still
making your brain stronger, and by using it, you don't lose it. Use it to lose it. And like they think that a lot of, maybe not Alzheimer's, but some dementia and loss of memory and things of those nature. That nature is because look what happens in our society. We decide at 65 we're no longer going to work. You've worked for 40 years, maybe 50 years, right? And now you're just going to sit down and do what? So your brain stops to work, and it just it doesn't need to be that way. I mean, you could retire and still do other stuff. Doesn't mean you got to go to wherever you worked. They say learn another language. I'm still working on English, but they say learn another language, learn another skill set. Cooking. I think it's like you love it, I love it, and it's.
I agree. Yeah, to me, I just learned, and I think I went through a phase there where up until about 5 years ago, I really was living that kind of life. It was more like heading towards retirement, right? Saying, okay, I'm going to shut it down. Now I think to myself, retire. Just not reality. Yeah.
And the thing I like about the cooking, Tom, is that, and I'm sure it's the same thing for you. I'm actually starting to understand how things work together to make food taste well.
Yeah. I made a dish yesterday. It was a shrimp bowl. So it had.
I saw that. It looked amazing.
And I made a sauce, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make a sauce up. So I put together avocado mayonnaise, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and some honey.
You start to understand salt and sweet and all that kind of stuff, and it's fun. I enjoy it. In fact, I make this salad with the watercress, an apple, toasted almonds, and then you can put whatever protein you want to put. Chicken in there. You can put beef, fish, whatever. Yeah. But the dressing itself, it's a real simple recipe, but you got to use, like they tell you 3 teaspoons, you put 3 teaspoons in it. And it's all just olive oil, white champagne vinegar, and some Dijon mustard. And it's tremendous.
Cool.
Really good. Yeah.
That is good. Yeah. I love taking a recipe and just changing around a little bit more healthy. Like I think I've told you, I've gotten into making the sushi lately. And I didn't realize in the sushi rice, they put in rice vinegar plus sugar and salt. So I just take the sugar and salt out of it, and it doesn't taste a whole lot different and less calories too. So
good stuff, man.
So, and it's funny. I know you're the same way too. You want to be part of I think it's really important with your health, physical, mental, and being around good people too. People that really want to live the same lifestyle as yours. Absolutely. We got a good friend of mine here, Lisa, lives up in Long Island. She's the same way. She's really into this neuroplasticity. So she's a very
it's really cool. I'm going to say, time goes quick. Probably 5 or 6 years ago. Well, no, wait. 6 years ago, I started this Veterans in the Ring at Gleason's Gym. And it was any veteran, we would train you for free. We had world champion boxers training veterans, and we supplied equipment and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how I found out, but there's a place in Toronto called Aim to Walk. And they're doing pad work, boxing pad work with people with spinal cord injury in a wheelchair. So the trainer gets there and holds the pads, and the people are in a wheelchair doing pad work with the trainer. And so I called there, and they were more than happy to talk to me about it. In fact, they did a follow-up article on me with Veterans in the Ring, how I was working with wounded veterans and stuff. But what they find out is that neuroplasticity of learning that new skill set retards any further degradation of their motor function. In fact, the twisting movement's really important because when you're, in a wheelchair, confined in a wheelchair, your organs can start to really degrade because you're not moving around a lot.
Right.
So there's a tremendous amount of benefit to it. And but to this young lady's point, the neuroplasticity, what they're saying is by increasing those neural connections, you're preventing further loss of what they already retain from the injury or whatever caused them to be in this condition.
Yeah. People laugh at me. I probably had this discussion with you before. People laugh at me because I say that my eyesight has gotten better as I've gotten older. Yep. I was nearsighted. I had to have glasses to drive and watch hockey and that. Yep. Since I've turned around like the healthier lifestyle and eating better or the fasting, I really believe, because obviously we've talked about autophagy and the process of regenerating the cells throughout your body and your brain. I believe that you can help yourself a lot of that stuff. But
so speaking of autophagy, there was an article I ran across. It was on Facebook or one of the internets, and saying that intermittent fasting is a hoax, that it's just calorie reduction. You don't have to do it in that fashion. But what they're lacking, or what they're not saying, is you're not going to get the autophagy. Yeah. So if you're looking for just body recomposition, reduced calories is going to work. But that's not what this is about. That's just an added benefit to it.
It is amazing how many people just look at intermittent fasting for the weight loss, the fat loss of it too. Yeah, and that is part of the process, but the autophagy is the additional part. Yeah. So again, autophagy it's basically eating yourself is the translation, but you're really not. Your body's not eating itself; it's regenerating the cells throughout your body and your brain.
It's like the maid coming in and cleaning up your apartment. So that's going on inside your cells, getting rid of all the metabolic waste and things of that nature.
Right. And now maybe because you wanted to feel this way, but for whatever reason, I really do feel mentally sharper when I'm fasting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you think about some of the great spiritual leaders over time, like Gandhi, he fasted for I forget how many days, but there's another part to the autophagy, which is they feel life extension. So DNA has a tail to it. They're called telomeres, and the increase the longer the telomere, the healthier and the longer your lifespan is. But over time, over years, that telomere begins to shorten. But if you do the fasting and you get the autophagy, they're finding that the telomere starts to lengthen back out again. And that's a real indicator of health and longevity.
You like to learn, don't you? You like to read and learn this stuff, don't you? I mean that in a good way. That's
well, as long as there's a lot of pictures in the book, I can keep up with it.
The big letters,
Yeah, stay within the lines too.
That's fine. No, that's a good thing. And again, I'm the same way. I've learned to learn. I've become best friends with my Google machine. I'm constantly talking to Google. New words and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that I really get excited when I go into a bookstore. I mean, I could spend all day in there.
Have you always been like that?
Yeah.
You always were?
Yeah, pretty much. And I got that from my dad, because my dad, like the moment he came home, Tom, from work, he sat on a couch and busted open a book when mom was cooking. So I kind of learned that behavior. And I could read before I went to school, before kindergarten. My dad taught me how to read. Yeah, just easy stuff. But yeah. And then my mother said, I don't know how you became so dumb when you got older, because you were really a bright kid.
It is
I
funny.
did. 7th and 8th grade, Tom. I went to summer school, not because I failed anything, but it was like a gifted child thing. So we did math and we did science. So I was 7th and 8th grade. Sophomore year, I failed geometry. My mother was like, what happened?
Oh, is that right? I was like that too. So I was pretty good at school, and then all of a sudden hockey started taking over.
Exactly.
High school was terrible. Yeah, high school was just awful. I had many. This year, I coached the girls' high school hockey team, but about 17 years ago, I coached the boys' team in Greenwich for 1 year, and I had to go back and get my grades from high school. And I really didn't think too much of it. I thought, I'm a pretty smart guy. Must have been good grades. My sons took a look at my grades. They were dying laughing. They're awful. I just couldn't believe how bad they were. But I guess it just was focus was on hockey. It wasn't on grades. It should have been.
But look at how you are now, right?
Right. And that's a good point. Like I feel like isn't that true? Right.
Yeah.
If you've gotten older, you've learned to learn more.
Sure. We were taking a train back from Washington, and I was sitting next to Tom Rennie. And he's a really bright guy, Tom.
So Tom Rennie's the former coach of the New York Rangers, by the way.
Yeah, came from Edmonton, and but anyhow, real bright guy. And we probably had a conversation for at least an hour just on energy systems in the body.
Oh,
made the trip go really quick, but it was, like nerds kind of we find each other.
Right. That's interesting.
But, it was pretty cool. He's a bright guy.
What I thought too, part of the reason I got on the subject of spirituality too was I was on my march in the morning at Todd's Point, and I see this couple all the time, and the gentleman happened to be by himself last week one day. And we've got someone friendly, just say hello to each other. And we started talking, and he started telling me about his medical issues. He'd had a lot of surgeries and almost died and all this kind of stuff, like 4 months in the hospital. And he really started talking a lot about his religion, his beliefs and everything. And I found myself much more open to listen. Like in the past, people started talking about religion. Like, I got to make an excuse to get out of here, right? I was pretty happy that it doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything he says or have the same beliefs, but it was much more an interesting conversation to listen to his feelings on the subject. So
well, there's actually research that shows that people who have faith, and it can be any faith, it's your choice, they live a longer life, and they're less likely to have disease.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the reduction in stress. If you could meditate, if you could find somewhere to seek a little spirituality. I have. I don't do it on a regular basis. I should do more of it. What I was doing for a while, especially during COVID, because I get up really early, I go into the office and keep the lights down really and just kind of sit there. And I don't know if you want to call it meditate, but just kind of think.
Right.
And I found that, doing the breathing as well. Breathing is really important, especially if you do like the box breathing, because that just lowers your blood pressure and everything slows down, and it gives you a chance to kind of just get ready for the day. Yeah.
On YouTube, when you watch starting a certain topic of video, they kind of feed you more stuff as you go along. So I watched a video the other day of one of those, the soft music playing and the fireplace, just in this log cabin kind of thing. I was sitting there watching. I was like, I was sitting outside. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So now I get a lot of these coming to me. And it's pretty interesting. A good way to relax and just because I try not to watch TV as much as possible, but I do like to watch these YouTube videos and learn. But then I realized that this thing comes on, it just lets you relax, and like there's no more noise coming in. You're outside, nice fresh air.
Music is really powerful. I'll give you an example. Last night, like I was telling you before, we had the bagpipe band do a lap around the rink and did all the military anthems, and I was almost. I'm saying, why am I welling up? Why are my eyes getting watery? Because it's so moving.
Bagpipes are unbelievable. I love the sound of bagpipes.
But that's how your emotion can, like when I train, it's funny, Tom. If I'm going to do my like knife stuff and all that kind of really stuff, I put on Asian music, Chinese or Japanese, But then when I'm hitting the kettlebell and I want to really attack it, then it's ZZ Top or something like that.
Sure.
So there's different music. And then when we used to spar, we used to actually put James Brown on while we were boxing.
Oh, really?
It kind of gives you a little rhythm, and then plus if you take a body shot, you can dance it off a little bit. No one knows the better of it. But yeah, we used to put James Brown, my friend Daniel Wilson and I, and even when we trained, we had the music on. So
I know I think about this too. That Bring Sally Up. Is it Bring Sally Up, that song?
Yeah, Bring Sally Up.
Yeah. So a lot of people remember it's on that movie Gone in 60 Seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Bring Sally Up.
Marine Corps uses it now. A lot of military use it. So
good push-ups for that, right?
Yeah. I did it with pull-ups. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You got to hang and then you got to pull up and you got to hold it and bring Sally down. Oh, it was awful.
So people don't know and they're saying bring Sally up, obviously in a push up, you're going up, and then they bring Sally down, you got to stay down. But in some cases, it's bring Sally down. You have to stay down there until they say bring Sally up again. You just can't go on your own. It's a good workout to get through that song. Is pull ups.
So I think Royce and I did it Royce beat me by about 10 seconds. I think on the push-ups, I did a minute 30. I think Royce did a minute 45 or 46 or something. But at home, I did the pull-ups. I want to tell you, Tom, I don't think I got to a minute. It's brutal. Brutal. I could do pull-ups all day, but the way it's tough. It's really tough.
Man, that's fun. I remember when guys started doing it. I was with a trainer. He started doing it there a few years ago. I'd never seen it before. It was pretty good. It's just kind of a fun thing to do, to break it up.
Sure. And what we've done in the past, we do it with a team. So it gets really competitive. You know, who's going to tap out first, who's going to tap out last. So it's a good team.
You know, we should get going again. Before the pandemic started, myself and a former Navy SEAL that I was doing a podcast with and another trainer, we were going to do a ruck challenge. And of course, you know what a ruck is. So a ruck is basically a backpack, and you put weights in it. If you're in really good shape, you put more weights in. If you're not as good shape, you take weights out. And we had it all on our website and everything. We were trying to promote it. And I learned a good lesson for this. And people, nobody was signing up. So I contacted some people that follow me, and I said, don't you want to do this? And they go, Tom, you're intimidating. It's a Navy SEAL. It's you. It's a trainer. I'm 20 pounds overweight sitting on a couch, you know. And it taught me a good lesson to make sure I really promoted the fact that it's not going to be a race. There's no competition.
Go at your own pace.
It's a challenge. What we wanted to do was, let's say it's 5 miles or whatever, maybe once every mile, have a station where we would stop and have some kind of a lecture on mental health, physical health, or whatever, some motivational thing. Again, so clearly, it's just like to swim. Technically, it's not a competition. It's just to swim to raise money. But we should try getting that going again. We should try doing that.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to talk to you about that a while back, and I'm glad you brought it up because there's a few people here, like a good friend of mine who's a coach at Rutgers, and another guy that played for the Chicago Bears. We talked about doing something similar to that, make it a charitable event, and same kind of thing, have some kind of physical activity, and make a full day of it, and stop and have speakers and talk about motivation and all that kind of stuff. So we can certainly. Yeah.
That'd be a fun thing. And we can really make that something that helps people too, right? To get people to say they want to lose 20 pounds or 25 pounds, get them moving. And,
it's all, if they can see that day that they can accomplish something that they couldn't do when they got there in the morning, that gives them the opportunity to realize, hey, I can do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. We got some people here. Let's go. Ted Curtin. Thank you, Ted. Let's do it.
There's Ted. Yeah.
That's our buddy, Ted. That's his wife, the construction business. I've got to meet his wife still. Yeah. So we're at the first, I think it was the first swim across the Hudson. I was part of the second one. Yeah, I think it was the first one. He gave me a ride in his pickup truck, and I'm thinking, it must be his pickup truck. And he said, tells guys and everything. And he said, nope, my wife's in the construction business, and she's got the hard hat back there and all that. So it's nothing wrong with that. It's fantastic. I just thought it was fantastic to hear.
No, Ted is a tremendous person. I mean, without Ted, this Warrior program this grinds to a halt. I mean, he's a marketing genius. Anybody that is lucky enough to have Ted on your team he's an incredible asset. And he's just he's a great guy. He's a great guy. I don't, it's the way it is.
Basically, I hope I'm right. Right. I hope I'm right when I say it this way, but his business is basically companies hire him to solve marketing needs or come up with marketing ideas for them, right? So
and he's in fact, I shared a post today on Facebook. He's very involved also prior to the Warriors with an autism group, and they've got a big thing coming up. And so anybody wants to look on my page, it'll spell it out for you for autism. That Ted is the leader and running with that thing.
Good. Actually, that reminds me of that Saturday show that I do. I'll make sure I got this information correct. So this woman, Dr. Ebony Ross, so she's with the Alliance for Positive Change. And there's a walk at Central Park, May 15th. I'll make sure I'm correct on that date. But it's a walk for autism as well. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's a walk for AIDS. And so the Alliance, and she works with the Alliance for Positive Change, has put together a team to walk in that in Central Park. So I just want to keep promoting that. People want to part. And again, if anybody wants to sign up to walk with them, it's the alliance.nyc is where you can find them on the internet. So good stuff. So what's that? Go ahead. Fire away.
No. I was just going to say that one of the things I'm thinking about doing with these push-ups, Tom, because, the 22 suicides a day. And last night we did 22 push-ups collectively as a unit before the game, just to keep that awareness going. I think COVID, I did 22 pull-ups a day for 22 days. That's kind of weak. So I'm going to see how this goes with the 100 pull-ups a day. And the next week I'm going to try 200 a day, which would be 1,000 a week. And if I can do it, which I think I can, I want to try and do that for 22 weeks consecutive. And at the end, it'll be 22,000 pull-ups. And I'd like to loop that into a charitable fundraiser for veterans.
That's right. We'll promote it here, obviously. So just so I'm pretty sure everybody understands what we're talking about. So in the military, amongst veterans, there's an average of 22 suicides every day. Some people think that number's a little low, actually, but that's an issue. So that's been kind of pegged the number. So a lot of people have done charities. So Mr. Muscleman over here can do 20. So what are you going to do? 22 a day?
So if I do 200 pull-ups a day, if I do 100 in the morning and 100 at night, that's 1,000 a week. And I would try to do that for 22 weeks straight to hit 22,000 pull-ups in that period of time. And like I did with when I did the 60 rounds of boxing, I had people donate money per round. So what I would do with this is, if you want to donate 1 penny per pull-up or whatever it is,
cool.
Yeah.
You're a sick man. How old are you? 66?
A couple months.
And you're going to do 200 pull-ups a day for 5 days a week.
Yeah. Well, during COVID, I kept track of everything, and I wanted to get 5,000 pull-ups done in like a 4-month period of time. I forget what it was. And I got to the last day, I had 400 to go. How am I going to do 400 pull-ups? And I just I'll do 100 sets of 4 pull-ups, and I did it. It took me, I think, 46 minutes. Yeah.
You did 100 sets of 4 pull-ups in 46 minutes.
Correct. For 400, because I needed to do the 400 pull-ups to reach that number. Yeah.
He's a sick man. He's a medical miracle. This man.
Mental midget, but.
So again, so we got that. I told you that date for that alliance for that AIDS walk. Again, the Alliance for Positive Change to participate. That's May 15th. The big thing for us is that, and this is a great cause, don't get me wrong, but the August 6th is the swim across the Hudson.
Correct. Yeah.
And I recommend everybody. Again, the money for that goes to the GI Go Fund.
Yeah.
GI Go Fund. That's a lot to raise money, and there's for veterans, and they do a lot of things to find jobs for veterans and everything. But I recommend everybody, if you can, to get out for it, either at Liberty State Park at the start of it. We'll notify you later on as we get closer to the exact date, what time that will be. And then if you can't get there, to go to Lower Manhattan when they get off. It's very patriotic. It's fun to watch. They had the bagpipes last year too, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have the bagpipes and color guard, and Fox News is back. Sure. They're going to follow the like they've done in the past.
So again, we'll be promoting that.
I think Pete Hegstead is going to swim.
Okay, and he's the former Army guy too. Was he in the Army?
Yeah, he was. Well, he's still. I think he's still reserve, Army Reserve. I think he's a Ranger Reserve. Did you meet him? Yeah, you met him, right, Tom? Yeah, you did. The second swim. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So we'll promote that some more. We'll probably in the past we've done a show with some Navy SEALs on. We'll probably have our buddy Kenny Big B Jr.
Oh yeah.
Minneapolis.
Kenny and Bill.
You guys want to watch him? You should go on. He's classic too. You should get on if people want to follow him. He's on Instagram and Facebook. Is he? He's on.
Yeah. He's on
Kenny,
both. It's Kenny Bigby Jr. Tremendous individual.
Bigbee Jr. Kenny Bigby Jr. He's martial arts. Is he good Taekwondo or what does he do?
Oh yeah, he's I forget I lost track of what his qualifications are. He's a couple different black belts. He has actually been doing a tremendous amount of work with a fellow Filipino martial artist, Jared Wahangi. Jared is a SWAT guy. They travel all over.
Oh, is that who he's
presentations
with?
for law enforcement, SWAT teams and whatnot.
He's
and
funny.
They make a good team.
Kenny's intense. When he gets his picture taken, it's the same look on his face in every picture too. It's just like he's intense. Good man.
One of the I don't know if you remember Steve Brown, Scuba. He's a little bit older guy.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to do the swim this year, and so he hit me up about a month ago, and I'm kind of honored that he's like, I can think I could do it. Number one, but totally. He said you're going to do the swim because he said I'll train you. If you come down to Virginia and spend a little bit of time, I'll train you up. And I said my brain wants to do the swim, my heart wants to do the swim, but the brain tells me not to do it, but to stay on the barge.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that too. But so Andre Dory, former teammate, got contacted there. He knew somebody. There's
footed me one night.
Oh, did he? Andre Dory did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hit an alumni game. What was that?
That's fun. So we're coaching in a game at Terry Connors Arena in Stanford. Terry Connors Arena in Stanford. Yeah. This coming Saturday. I believe it's 2:00. I'll post more about it. But it's one of those charity games. Firefighters against police raise money for, I believe, a firefighter that's going through some serious health problems.
They just lost somebody yesterday.
Where, in Stanford?
No, in New York City. The New York Fire Department just lost somebody.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Like a 30-year-old kid. Yeah, it's horrible.
That's sad. Anytime, as you know, my father's a firefighter, so it's sad anytime you hear that kind of stuff. But just
we're playing May 22nd, Tom. May 22nd at the Prudential practice rink. We're playing a group called New Jersey Fire, and it's a group of firefighters from varying cities and towns. They put a team together, so we're going to be playing those guys.
Okay.
Because we're the same thing. We look at military and first responders all in the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see you again, brother. You got a busy week ahead of you. You're training the entire world.
Yeah, no, I'm really cranking, and Ted and I got a lot of warrior stuff coming up. We've got some practices. We're going to be helping out with another cause. And this Saturday, the Warriors, we're going to be at the Bergen County Horse Rescue in Marlborough, New Jersey. And Ted and I went there a couple months ago, and they have a whole punch list. We're going to be rebuilding some barns and some stables, and it's going to be a fun day. So it's going to be very therapeutic for our guys. It's going to help out a great cause.
That's
and, so we're not just only hockey. We do some other good stuff.
That's good. So I like that a lot. Yeah, I like where you go.
And again, Ted's the driving force. I just show up and go, where do I stand?
So you're building something. So his wife will be there probably. Like she'll have the hammer going and everything.
Oh yeah.
All right. So again, we got a lot of stuff going on. So I've got this game. Andre Dory and I have this game up in Stanford. Again, I'll get more details on that. But
when is that, Tom?
Saturday at Terry Connor's rink in Stanford. I believe it's like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, this coming Saturday.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Actually, and then tonight we've got to go. The alumni, Ranger alumni, is down. There's a casino night down the city tonight.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah.
Typically before the pandemic, they had the current players and that. Obviously,
Right.
they can't do it now, or they want them doing it. So it's a black tie event. So we're all.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that looks like fun. Yeah.
Bad thing is I got to ride with Ron Gresham and Dave Maloney all the way down to the city. God.
Well, you can't have everything.
Okay, hold on. We get an update here from Ted too. Yeah. So Kathy will be there. So this is a worthwhile event. Now we know things are going to get done properly because Kathy's
exactly. We have some supervision.
That's right. And you need it too. So
it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, well, good to see you again, brother. We'll see you
Always.
next Monday.